As part of the wider study of constant plantation and its associated networks, this feature focuses on Thomas Middleton, an influential figure whose commercial ambitions, plantation ownership, and political connections helped shape the economic and social landscape of 17th century Barbados. This is Wealth and Power in the Valley, the tale of Thomas Middleton. The early 17th century was a time of expanding horizons, rising ambition, and global trade. It was within this world around the year 1610 that Thomas Middleton was born. He was a man whose life would become closely tied to commerce, conflict, and the growth of the English overseas empire. From an early age, he was immersed in the business of commerce. His uncle, Captain Thomas Willoughby the Elder, was an early settler in Virginia and a man of considerable property. Through him and through the wider Middleton family, many of whom ventured across the Atlantic, young Thomas Middleton developed a keen interest in trade, overseas enterprise, and the growing sugar economy of the Caribbean. By 1647, Middleton had become a ship's captain. That year, he commanded the vessel Noshux, one of the three ships sent on an expedition led by Colonel Thomas Modiford. Their mission was to establish a plantation in Antigua. The venture failed, but it proved to be a turning point. With England locked in the turmoil of civil war, Middleton, like many ambitious men of his time, looked elsewhere for opportunity. Barbados, with its fertile land and relative political stability, offered exactly that. After arriving on the island, Middleton moved quickly. Within months, he had formed partnerships and gained the confidence of a number of Barbados's more powerful landowners, men who dominated the island's early tobacco trade and its rapidly expanding sugar industry. That same year, Middleton purchased the Mount Plantation from James and William Drax. Soon after, he acquired the Valley Plantation, located just west of Constant Plantation here in St. George. These purchases placed him at the center of an influential network of planters and merchants and made him a neighbor of Constant Sylvester himself. In an era when family ties and business alliances determine success, Middleton's closeness, both physical and financial, to the Sylvester and Drax family proved invaluable. Together with Thomas Rouse and brothers Constant and Nathaniel Sylvester, Middleton entered into a major overseas investment. In 1651, they purchased Shelter Island for 1,600 pounds of Muscovado sugar, almost certainly produced on the Mount Constant and the Valley plantations. But Shelter Island was only one part of Middleton's expanding empire. In Barbados, he continued to acquire land on a large scale. In 1650, he purchased a 350-acre plantation in St. John known as Heel. 4 years later, he acquired another estate, 15 acres, paying 18,000 pounds of sugar. He also held substantial land in the parish of St. George and St. Andrew and owned and leased property at Indian Bridge and St. Michael. Middleton's influence expanded far beyond the Caribbean. By 1660, he was appointed one of 48 members of the Council for Foreign Plantations, a powerful body responsible for overseeing English colonies and advising the Crown on trade and governance. Its members included elite planters, merchants, senior officials, and naval officers. Through this role, Middleton forged close connections with the Council for Trade, and the Royal African Company, a relationship that strengthened the flow of goods, labor, and capital between England, the Caribbean, and North America. His rise continued. In 1664, now a colonel, Middleton was appointed Commissioner of the Navy at Portsmouth. 3 years later, he was promoted to Surveyor of the Navy, one of the more senior naval administrative positions of that time. Thomas Middleton died in December 1672. In his will, he left the bulk of his estates, including properties in Antigua, Barbados, and New England, along with considerable debt to his son Benjamin Middleton. His life tells a larger story of empire, commerce, and power, and of how Barbados stood at the crossroad of a global system that shaped the modern world.